The Senate has finally voted to reopen the government, a 60-40 vote ending the nation's longest shutdown. 8 Democrats broke ranks to back a Republican-led bill that didn't include their top demand, extending expiring healthcare subsidies. According to the New York Times, the bill now heads to the House, where the margin will be tight. President Trump called the deal very good and said, "I'll abide by it." Senator Tim Kaine said Democrats had no path forward on health care while the government was closed, with millions losing benefits and facing travel chaos. Democratic leader Chuck Schumer opposed the deal, saying, quote, "It fails to do anything of substance to fix America's healthcare crisis." Senator Angus King added that the shutdown wasn't gaining leverage, only hurting the country. Democrats accepted a later vote on subsidies, but it will need 60 votes in a Republican-led chamber. A long shot. Democrats blinked and the pain now. Voters will decide later if that was courage or capitulation. Okay, so what's the real message here? Short term, Trump won bigly. He got what he wanted. He got the government opened without having to give in anything. But the long term is less clear. If 20 million Americans see their healthcare costs double next month and next year, every month, it may be the Democrats who are the big winners because of this spotlight in the shutdown. Let's dig a little bit deeper here. So there's a lot of second guessing going on. Many Democrats in disarray, upset about this. You have one faction, the more progressive, left of center faction, saying this was horrible. The Democrats should not have given in to Trump and the Republicans. You have centrists, but it's not just an ideological positioning. You have other people who are more pragmatic saying, look, we tried, we did everything we could. The Democrats won the messaging battle as far as people see this about healthcare and not just about something ethereal like democracy. And B, we gained in the polls. The polls show between 10 and 19% of voters blame the Republicans more than the Democrats on this shutdown. So those who said, let's end the shutdown, are saying, hey, we've won something here. Their bigger point is we have tens of millions of Americans who are not getting food, and they are going to, if not starve to death, be put in situations of extreme stress and physical deprivation, especially children. And clearly this administration isn't going to negotiate. So why do we continue hoping for something that isn't going to happen? And meanwhile, not protecting the people we're here to protect. That's the Democratic view of the tens of millions of Americans who do receive food stamps. Plus, there's the minor inconvenience of the fact that airports are shutting down and flights are chaotic, to say the least. So that's the Democratic position of those who voted in favor of opening this government. Chuck Schumer, other Democrats, those who are more on the progressive side, said, no, we should have stuck together because we're winning the PR battle. Why back down now when we're winning the PR battle? More Americans blame the Republicans than the Democrats. What's the message that's going to dominate? Here's how I see this as a sane, sensible centrist. And I'm going to give it to you straight. You might not like it. I'm much safer just giving you facts, but this is not a pure news show. This is a news analysis show. And I'm going to give it to you straight the way I see it. I think the Democrats basically had no choice but to vote to open the government up, because this is not like a normal negotiation. Let's look at a scenario where there's two tribes fighting, and either tribe can lose a lot if there's not a truce. And the person head of one tribe can say, look, 1,000 of your people are going to starve to death if we don't do this thing. And the other person could say, look, 1,000 people on your side can starve to death if we don't open this thing up. But there's one difference. One of the leaders says, you know what? I don't care if 1,000 people on my own team starve to death. I got all the food I want. I don't care about anything. If that's the negotiating position, then it's going to be very hard to win negotiating against someone like that because you have no leverage. The party that can say, we see you care about your 1,000 people starving to death, and you better do what we want or we're going to force them to starve to death. That party's going to have more leverage. Now, you can quibble over whether my analogy is 100% apt. Okay, you can quibble over it. But in a broadly defined picture here, I do think that summarizes the position the Democrats are in. There are other more Machiavellian forces going on here as well. There are some Democrats who said, okay, we certainly would have liked it if the administration had given us what we want. But we've done this long enough to really sell our message to the American people that we're on the side of them, not expanding government, but having some subsidies in healthcare as they've had for a while. And we're not in favor of seeing their healthcare premiums double. We communicated that message. And if in fact Trump had given us what we wanted, it would have helped him politically because so many of the people about to see their healthcare costs go up live in Republican districts, live in Republican states. So there was a faction of Democrats saying, why are we helping Trump get out of a political problem? Let's let him do what he wants. Let's let him cut healthcare, see possibly 5 million Americans lose all healthcare coverage. And then we can share the message that, hey, you lost your healthcare coverage, so Trump could give rich people bigger tax cuts. That is the school of thought that some Democrats have right now. And I have to say, there is some validity to that, too. How does this all come out in the wash 6 months from now, or really, more importantly, a year from now, when there are the 2026 midterm elections? Anyone who tells you they can look into their crystal ball and see exactly what's going to happen a year from now is selling you something. And I'm not selling you, well, at least I'm not selling you that. Yes, I have commercials and other products, but we're not selling it now. I am not entirely certain we'll even have election 2020 or that we'll have meaning. I'm sure we'll have some elections. I'm not sure how meaningful they are. When you factor in things like Trump telling his Department of Justice that they have to investigate and possibly indict a sitting senator, as they are Senator Adam Schiff of California, it's not much of a stretch to see why doesn't the Justice Department simply indict every Democratic senator and House member? Why don't they indict every candidate running as a Democrat? It's really not much of a stretch from where we are now. No serious person thinks that Senator Schiff deserves to be indicted. It's pure political payback because he had the temerity to lead an investigation and vote against Trump. So I'm not sure any of this matters at all, given the current political climate in Washington, the increased politicization of the Department of Justice. And because none of this is going to matter if there aren't actually free and fair elections in 2026. The Trump administration can essentially do whatever it wants. Right now, I'm going to do what I want.